What's up, everybody? Would we agree that this is a black marker? Well, if you said yes, then looks like you're correct. Or is it? Go ahead and stick around if you want to learn more about the mysteries of chromatography. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to STEM with Mr. C. So as you can see by our intro, we're going to be playing with some markers and some paper, and we're going to make different colors. Therein lies the magic and mystery of chromatography. Since it's almost Valentine's Day, I like to call this Valentine's chromatography. Let's explore that word. We'll talk about our materials. We're going to do a quick experiment, and then it's going to be what I like to call arts and crafts time. So first, chromatography. It's actually, you can break that word up into the prefix and the suffix. Both are Greek. Chroma meaning color, and graphy meaning to write. So literally, it's color writing. Pretty cool, right? Hey, look at that. You get some language arts and you get science, two for the price of one today. I know, it's pretty cool. As you can see, right, our beginning we had black, but that actually turned into some blue, light blue, and I have a little bit of purple in there. Pretty interesting, and we're gonna explore that. Let's talk about our materials. The real basic materials, you just need some washable markers are fine. I actually have a bunch of different blacks because we're gonna do a little experiment here. I have my Up and Up black. I have a Pen and Gear dry erase, wet erase, or washable or fine. I have my Expo wet erase. And I also have, I had it, wherever it went. Nope, it's somewhere. Oh, here it is, my Rose Art black. So we're gonna explore that. Browns are good. You can really pick any color you want. So that whole thing, markers. Washable, dry erase, or wet erase are fine. I recommend a pencil and a ruler. If you want to do the beginning experiment with me, you're going to need some water. You can also use rubbing alcohol, works really well too. Either one is fine, doesn't matter. A small cup or a small glass is good too. Scissors if you want to cut this out afterward. Coffee filters, that's going to serve as our chromatography paper. And so I already cut this into a square. So if you don't have any coffee filters, these are really good. These little cone-shaped ones, the basket ones are just fine. If you don't drink coffee and you don't have coffee filters, paper towels work just as well, right? They work just fine. And really, that's going to be it. So once you get all your materials, we're going to zoom in and we're going to do a quick chromatography experiment, and we're going to see how this works. Okay, here's the first part of the experiment, and we're going to learn about chromatography as we do the experiment. A little different than what we usually do, but so I've got my two coffee filters out, and that's just to show you one I'm going to use alcohol and one I'm going to use water. Okay, so first thing, take out your pencil and your ruler, and we're going to go ahead and at the bottom, right, as you guys are looking, the bottom of my paper, I'm just going to measure about an inch up, right, about 1 inch. Just go ahead and make a mark, and then just draw a line, right, a horizontal line. And make sure you do this in pencil, and it should look something like this. Okay, and that's going to be our bottom right there. That's going to be our bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, so I've got two of them. You only have to do one if you want, but I've got two because I'm going to put one in rubbing alcohol and one in water. Your next thing, go ahead and pick 2 or 3 colors that you like, that you want to use. Okay, I'm going to pick black, right? And I have 3 different blacks. I have my Pen and Gear dry erase, I have my Expo wet erase, and then I have an Up and Up washable marker, right? So I wanted to try all 3 and show you guys what chromatography, what's going on here. Okay, so you have your line here. What we're going to do, go ahead and make 3 dots, and I'll show you here. Move this over. So put your dot right on the line. You don't want it too big. There you go, just let it bleed in. Perfect. I'm going to use my Pen and Gear next. Perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my wet erase on the left, my left. And there we go. And yeah, that's right, Tony. Yeah, Tony's excited about chromatography as well. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of a bleed through there. So if you're doing this on a table, I recommend putting something underneath it. If not, and it accidentally bleeds through, some rubbing alcohol will take that right off. So I'm going to use my own advice, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to put this one in water, so same thing, washable to my right, and you can use whatever colors you want, right? Purple, brown, green, yellow, doesn't matter. Pick whatever colors you want to use. I'm just using 3 blacks just to show you, one, is there a difference between all 3 of these blacks? And 2, how we can tell that there's a difference. Okay, once you've done that, here we go. I have my 2 papers there, ready to go. Okay, I'm going to put this one in alcohol. So I've got my alcohol cup I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to put my water cup right here. Okay, so now when we do this, we're going to put water in here and alcohol in here. Now we need to be careful that we don't put too much water or alcohol, whatever you're using. You don't want it to go past this line. You want to go about right here. You don't want it touching the dots, right? If the solution touches the dots, what's going to happen is it just bleeds through, washes through, and then it's not going to work. So you want to fill it up to about right there, okay? So a great way to test this is, especially this one's kind of hard because it's got a thick bottom, but if I'm looking at this, I can measure this and go, okay, I can put a little bit more alcohol in there. I can measure it up to about right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one of these because I think that'll work better and you guys will see it a lot better. Don't go anywhere. And back in a flash. All right, so alcohol, let's go ahead and move that over and let's show you guys a little something here. A little bit of rubbing alcohol takes that right off. I'm gonna get my paper towel. This is why this experiment works really well with rubbing alcohol, although water works just fine. All right, so I have my rubbing alcohol. Remember, now I'm gonna stand it up here and you can kind of see, all right, I'm gonna need to fill up a little bit more. So I'm gonna fill up my rubbing alcohol. And that, I'm good with that. That's plenty, right? I'm gonna do the same thing with the water. I'm gonna fill it up. Not too much. There we go. And that's gonna be perfect. Okay, so once you have these set up, go ahead and drop them in. And now what we do is we wait. So go ahead and, while you're waiting for this, you can go ahead and take a break, go get a drink of water, do some exercises. But we're gonna stick around and we're gonna see what happens here. And wow, look at that. So pretty cool. I remember I had my rubbing alcohol right here, and I have my water right there. And so let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here. So get that out of my face. All right, so I just jostled it a little bit. So what's happening here? Chromatography. Well, we use chromatography to separate mixtures of substances into their different components, right? The different things that make them up. And so with our black marker here, we can see that our black marker, and remember I used up and up, I used, yeah, and I used a wet erase, right? So the water you see affected my black up and up. Look at my different colors, and let's go ahead and show that up to you guys. Well, look at that, right? My up and up, right here, that's my up and up. I've got some blue, brown, black, a little bit of yellow, but my wet erase marker, man, I mean, that's got yellow, green, red, blue, black, purple. That's pretty impressive. So we can see that these two black markers, and then my pen and gear really just didn't do anything. You know, so these two black markers actually are very different. And that's a cool dark blue there. That really looks awesome. And we can see the same thing happening here. It just works a little differently in rubbing alcohol. You still get the same effect, but you can really see that blue on my up and up. The rubbing alcohol really takes that blue and runs it up. And then in the middle, right, my pen and gear right there, the rubbing alcohol did affect it, and you see it kind of just pulling it up there. Pretty cool, right? Water's gonna get you a really good result when you use washable markers. If you're gonna use permanent markers, then rubbing alcohol works well. So really what's going on here? Well, like we said, chromatography, it separates out my black marker, and we'll use this one because it has, I think, probably the most dynamic example right there, right? So we're separating this out into the different things that make up this black marker, right? Yellow, green, red, purple, blue. Well, to begin this, right, we started with my coffee filter and we dissolved a substance, right? And really, all we did was put a marker on here and then we added water, okay? So there's two things that are happening here, right? We have to, when anything moves up, right? Now that water is moving up the coffee filter, and that's called capillary action, right? The water is drawn up through the coffee filter. That's why the water goes, and that's how paper towels work, right? That's why paper towels are very effective at cleaning up messes because of capillary action. They soak in and absorb the water. So what happens here is the mobile phase, right? Our water, that's our solution. And then as it travels up the coffee filter, it hits the ink, right? Now, the second thing, we have the mobile phase, and then we have the stationary phase, okay? Our stationary phase was our marker, our mobile phase was our water. As the water goes up, it carries some of the marker pigments or the colors with it, right? Now, the pigments that are the most soluble, meaning they are most likely or most able to mix with the water or rubbing alcohol, whatever we use, are gonna travel up the coffee filter further, right? Because they are gonna be carried along with the water. Molecules, right, that are the least soluble, meaning they don't really mix with the water, they're really just gonna travel, or they're just gonna stay the same. They're just gonna travel the least, or they're just gonna kind of hang out, right? As is the case of our middle marker there. The water didn't really affect it, it just kind of hung out. So we can see that it's not soluble in water. My wet erase here, you can see that the yellows and a little bit of the green are the least soluble. So they're gonna stay right there and not go anywhere. But my red and my blue and my black are the most soluble because they're traveling the furthest. Remember, and then we can see here got a whole lot of fun going on here. Nothing, 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 at least something I can't see. And then into brown, blue, and a little bit of black. It's pretty awesome. So, paper chromatography, right? It's really easy to see what different colors and pigments make up our markers, okay? As we can see, I tested it with 3 different black markers just to show you that not all black markers or not all marker brands are created the same. So what's going on here, right? Why do we even do this? What's the point of doing chromatography? I mean, it's great for this, but what does this actually do in science? Well, figuring out what's in a mixture is extremely important, okay? It allows scientists to know what's in a mixture. So let's take something like medicine, right? If I know that this medicine helps, you know, let's say cure headaches, okay? And I can separate that medicine out into its components, I can see what that medicine is made of, right? So then I can recreate or remake that medicine. It's very helpful. On the other side of that, if I know that this, whatever this is toxic and can hurt people, I can separate that toxic compound into its different substances, its different components, and I can see, oh, look at those things, right? I can see each one of those things that the substance is made of, and now I know it's toxic, and now I know why it's toxic, right? That's the question, why? So pretty cool. So we're gonna do more than this. We're gonna turn this into a little art project. Now that we know chromatography and what it can do, we're gonna experiment a little bit and we're gonna create some hearts, some Valentines, whatever you wanna do. I'm gonna show you one way I can do this, and then it's gonna be on you all to take it from there and do whatever you want. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. So I've got 3 different things set up here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna swap this out because I haven't shown you how to do this with a paper towel yet. And the paper towel works the same way, so I just definitely wanna show you guys. So I have 2 coffee filters, and we're gonna do a quick, I'm gonna show you one cool way to make a Valentine. And then after that, you are on your own. You can make your Valentine however you want. And so in the left corner, I have my wet erase markers. I have black and red. I'm just gonna use that with water. In the middle corner, I have my permanent markers, and I'm actually gonna experiment with some rubbing alcohol and see what that does. And then in the right corner, I have my washable markers, and I'm gonna actually do that with a paper towel, just to show you that it does work. Some optional things, if you wanna make this look fancy-dancy, you can use pipettes or an eyedropper, or you can just be really careful and drop it. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. First thing, I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna draw the same pattern in all of them. So now that we know that chromatography, and thanks to capillary action, the water travels up the coffee filter. But it only travels up because that's the direction it's going. That's what got wet. So it can also travel down and travel to the side wherever it's not wet. Hint, hint, that's what we're gonna be doing. Okay, so I'm gonna swap this out and I'm just gonna make a couple designs. I'm not that creative of an artist. And by the way, if you have not checked out our awesome art teacher and you want to get better at art, probably want to click up there because that is Mrs. Ricciardi, the best in the West art teacher right there. Go look at her channel, go get some art knowledge and learn how to be a better artist. And remember, I love what she says, perfect is boring. That's right. All right, so I'm just gonna draw some cool designs here, what I think are cool designs. There we go. And then, you know, really this is just whatever you want. Draw my arrow. Beautiful. Okay. There's my first one right there. Not too bad, not too bad. And I'm gonna try, I'll recreate that with the second one. Let's move that over. So I don't have anything in my cups right now, just so you know. Let's do the same thing. All right, number 2. And then now I'm gonna recreate that, kind of just using alternating colors with my black and red wet erase marker. Okay, look at that, some simple designs there. Try to do all of the same, although, you know, limited by my different colors I have. And so now, remember, so I've got my, just to show you, my wet erase. If you've never seen a wet erase marker, back in the old days, we used transparencies, which is really like an overhead projector, and we had to write on these clear film and then project it on. You know, that's a nice staple of the 80s there. So let's go ahead and, if you haven't seen those, they're pretty cool. They erase just fine. You just need to erase them with water or some sort of solvent. All right, and so what I'm gonna do now is, remember, so wet erase, we learned that wet erase and my washable markers work best with water. Okay, that's what we wanna do. My permanent markers don't really work that well with water, okay? So we're gonna use a little bit of alcohol to make that work. So I have my rubbing alcohol here. I have 1 pipette, or you can use an eyedropper. If you don't have anything like that, you can easily just put a toothpick or something and just, you know, drop little droplets there, which is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna make a little adjustment here. So this kind of peaks a little bit. You notice that I'm kind of making a peak, like a mountain in the top. I wonder why I'm doing that. Here we go. Do the same thing with my paper towel. All right, and now begins the fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna time lapse this. So I have water, rubbing alcohol, water. Here's my water. And you can add more as needed. So we're just gonna speed this up and see what this looks like. And you can always experiment with this, right? Put it in the center. You can just start pushing it around if you want more. And there we go. Those are my 3 little Valentines there. So what you want to do now is just let these dry. It doesn't take very long for them to dry, maybe 30 minutes or so. The rubbing alcohol will dry a little quicker. And we can see, right, my water. Now remember, I only used 2 colors here. I used black and red. But look at this. Look at all of my colors that came from just using chromatography, right? I have red, I have black, I have blue, I have, looks like some yellow, some orange, I can see a little bit of green in there. Now, that's kind of cool, and you can still kind of see the outline of a heart. Pretty cool. Let's check out, remember, only 2 colors on that one. For this one, I used 3 colors. Right, and it works pretty well, right? It's still kind of cool. The red and the purple definitely bled, and it started separating out into different colors. The green didn't do a whole lot, but you can see the green had some yellow and had some black in there. That was kind of cool. And then my paper towel one actually turned out really well. And I don't remember using any blue, right? I didn't use any blue, but look at that, right? I used brown. I used red, I used black, I think I used a little bit of purple, but look at that. Look at all those colors, right? So we have more than just the colors we used. Pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and come back to the studio and let's just review. All right, hey, so that was pretty cool. Remember, chromatography. Chroma meaning color, graphy meaning to write, so literally color writing. We use it right here to explain how we can separate out a mixture into its individual components, right? What makes up that individual, let's say, marker. And remember, we also can use it in anything from medicine to detecting poisons, anything we need to figure out what makes up this mixture, we can use chromatography. We're using liquid chromatography, there's gas chromatography, it's pretty cool. All right, my challenge to you is, what kind of cool chromatography art can you make? Now, if you happen to do this and you happen to take a picture very clearly of your art, like
there it is, Magnum, holy moly,
just like that, or maybe something like this.
Yeah, baby, that's what I've been waiting for. Dear God, it's beautiful.
Then I will, one, make sure you get rewarded with a sticker or two, and two, I will print out that picture and it will go on the STEM bulletin board in the courtyard for everyone to look at in awe and amazement. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it will be a glorious day. We will do this awesome chromatography art. Everyone look and wonder.
My friends, songs will be sung about this day.
And maybe we'll sing songs about this day. Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor Martok. Very nice. Okay, anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy this. Hey, next week we're gonna do something similar to this, but it's actually going to try and recreate flowers and how they get water. You don't wanna miss that. All right, see you guys later.